Now, look, I think you pick. So you say to me, fight. Tell me what we're going to fight about, because I'm not interested in fighting about.
I'll tell you what I think.
I'll tell you this. I said this just a minute ago to somebody else. We were really south on kitchen table issues. We weren't really good about the family room issues.
I disagree with you. I disagree with you 100
Okay, the only room we were do really well was the bathroom, and that's the smallest room in the house.
That is such bullshit. That is total bullshit. That is buying into the right-wing media narrative, and I'm so sick of Democrats like you.
In an interview he probably thought would be a cakewalk, Rahm Emmanuel got called out by I've Had It host Jennifer Welch.
That is buying into the right-wing media narrative, and I'm so sick of Democrats like you selling out and saying this. You know who talks about trans people more than anybody? MAGA. MAGA is the most genital-obsessed political party I have ever seen. Kamala Harris talked about homeownership. She talked about kitchen table issues. Trump's over there droning on about Hannibal Lecter. Are you kidding me? This is where the Democrats lose, because we're playing the game with the rule book. They've ripped the rule book up and are cramming it down everybody's throat. They're the gender-obsessed weirdos, not us. We're the ones who fight for Social Security. We fight for Medicare. And we're not going to bully trans people. We're not going to do it. It upsets me. It upsets me so much, because we live here in this red state, and you see the damage of it. When I see politicians that are supposed to be leaders in the Democratic Party buy into the narrative that Republicans have defined us by, instead of fighting and saying, you're the weirdos that are obsessed with it. Yeah, we're not going to bully some trans kid. And we buy into their narrative. It's why I think we lose. And I have to live in a state where rape victims can't get an abortion because of this bullshit. And so I'm going to fight till the bitter end, and I'm not going to let some MAGA moron define what progressive values are. And I think it's a really dangerous precedent, Mr. Emanuel. I'm sorry, but I have to push back. And I'm not some coastal elite liberal.
This is, in one word, tiresome. More in a moment.
As somebody here, there's one person on this podcast that actually won a house, worked on a presidential campaign, ran and said, okay, look, I don't have I'm going to get back, and I'm going to just say this. I get the spirit of fighting given when you see all the assaults by Donald Trump and his people on things and values and ideas that we care about. I get that. But I want to know what we're fighting for and who we're fighting on behalf, because not every fight is equal.
Curious, which DNC operative fed him this line? Seriously, it's pathetic.
Where I fundamentally think the Democratic messaging should be on this, in the last election, the people who talked about bathrooms the most were MAGA. That was their big commercial that turned everybody. It wasn't us. I think our messaging is that our economic opportunity and educational opportunities, as far as it being equal for everyone, is for everyone.
Why is he reacting like this? What exactly is going on here? Let's go over it. Hey guys, quick break in the action. I have a new show coming out called The Rick Strom Show. It is going to be awesome. I'm interviewing musicians, athletes, producers, writers, journalists, authors, sports doctors. Go check it out at youtube.com/@TheRickStromShow. Also be sure to throw me a follow on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. It can all be found in the description box below. Thank you. For starters, via Mediaite. Last month, it was reported that Rahm Emmanuel, who was the chief of staff for former President Barack Obama before becoming mayor of Chicago, was mulling a 2028 presidential run. Yes, you heard that correctly. Emmanuel has long been a fixture in Democratic politics, for better or definitely for worse, and most recently served as ambassador to Japan in the Biden administration. That also came under scrutiny, by the way. Wrote another outlet. Since returning from his role as ambassador in January, he has wasted no time re-entering the domestic political fray. He's appeared on podcasts. He is now a contributor to CNN, and he has written regular columns for the Washington Post, all while testing a campaign message centered, that's an important word there, on America's educational crisis. You know what? Actually, I was going to bump this lower, but I'm going to read it now. It's wise to understand how that is BS. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson went after Rahm Emmanuel, saying, and I quote, "The playbook that Donald Trump is running is a playbook that Rahm Emmanuel executed in this city. We didn't get here because we just happened to have a tyrant in the White House. He got here because someone gave him the script, and the shutting of schools, the firing of black women, privatizing our public education system is why the system is as jacked up as it is today. Let me also be clear. Emanuel, who served 2 terms via WTTW as Chicago mayor from 2011 to 2019, was blasted by Johnson for closing 50 Chicago public schools in 2013. That would lead to the rise of the teachers union organizer, Brandon Johnson. There was another very big thing that happened in this city that you should know of.
This is the dashcam video of another patrol car following Officer Jason Van Dyke's patrol car to the location where Laquan McDonald is shot dead.
They're demonstrating after officials released dashcam video that shows a white police officer fatally shooting a black teenager.
Chicago police officer charged with murdering a teenager, firing 16 shots in 15 seconds.
We need, as a city, to get to a point where young men in our community and in parts of our city see an officer and don't just see an officer with a uniform and a badge, but they see him as a partner in helping them reach their full potential. And they see in that officer a mentor, a Little League coach, a leader in the church and in their community, which they are.
In Chicago, the unjust slaying of 17-year-old Laquan McDonald went global. We all saw the video evidence, but the Chicago Police Department, with many bad faith actors in powerful positions to do their bidding, wanted us to think otherwise. One of those individuals was then Mayor Rahm Emmanuel, a man with a cozy relationship to the DNC and handpicked by President Joe Biden to serve as ambassador to Japan. Emmanuel, per MSNBC's Chris Ginder, hid the tape of the police's murder of McDonald while he fought for re-election in Chicago. Emmanuel's administration spent more than a year arguing against releasing footage of the 17-year-old's death to the public, only relenting because of a judge's order. While Emmanuel denies ever conducting a cover-up, the Associated Press would put in their piece, "There is no incident in recent Chicago history that has created such distrust of City Hall and the police department than then Mayor Rahm Emmanuel's unsuccessful legal battle to keep under wraps the dashcam video showing Officer Jason Van Dyke shoot the teen 16 times." And while I hear all this stuff of Rahm Emmanuel thinking about entering the race, he would go on to say as well, "I'm not done with public service, and I'm hoping public service is not done with me." Interestingly enough, when asked why a recent poll showed Johnson with a low approval rating, Emmanuel said the Dems focus too much on the fight for trans rights. Let me be clear about something. You know the bill, No Child Left Behind? If you wanted to have a stronger coalition, you pitch the widest tent. And you make sure that nobody, no matter what, is left behind. We don't throw a marginalized group to the wolves just so the centrists can scream louder and say, that's the reason why you lost. No, that's not the reason that they lost. There are a plethora of reasons on why they lost. Not calling out what's going on in the Middle East, quite terrible. Focusing at the beginning of, let's just say, Kamala Harris's campaign on student loan forgiveness, on showing progressive values through the bills that they wanted to take place, and instead having a family member who's an Uber executive take part in writing and running the playbook and saying, look at us, we're the party of good billionaires. We got Mark Cuban in our corner. No disrespect, but you really want to reach some people who are really needing help these days and think the government has failed them? You don't pander to that. You pander to the best parts of society. You pander to helping people. I also love how Rahm Emmanuel, who is credibly accused of covering up a murder in this city, in order for him to just have longevity in a political career is blaming, which is just tried and true of the DNC, progressives and leftists, and saying they're the problem. No. The problem is getting someone like Rahm Emmanuel, or even as we have seen in the past elections, Michael Bloomberg or Howard Schultz. Oh yeah, that's really representing the party of the people, really. That's the populace that you want running, right? Rahm Emmanuel, if you were to put him in the grand scheme of things as it pertains to world politics, would be very right-wing. Because our country is very right-wing. The centrists don't get anything done. I've said this before, that Joe Biden was the Band-Aid to the problem. I said it when he won in 2020. He is the Band-Aid. And the Band-Aid is going to be ripped off, and what's going to happen? Are you going to have surgery, or are you going to have your leg amputated by the Republicans? And look at what happened. People see this stuff. They resonate with it. This is the last person that I want being on the ticket. And we are so far away. Who even knows if we're going to have an election? But this guy suddenly coming in once again, marching through the door, big wide grin. Oh yeah, well, I ran elections. I ran somebody's election. I was the chief of staff to the most popular president ever. So what? Look at where it led us. Look at where we are now. You want to give something that people can really cling to? Focus on the messaging of an FDR. Focus on leftist politics that will truly help most people. Go for a billionaire tax. I've seen Sam Cedar talk about this before. The numbers do not lie. Taxing billionaires at a 90% rate will help elevate the middle class that Donald Trump has decimated. But no, what does this guy do? He wants to protect his corporate donors. And he wants to run as the moderate. Come on, can't we all just get along? While also saying trans people are okay to give up. Nah, don't think so. You know what that is? Foolish and weak. But hey, those are the characteristics of one Rahm Emmanuel. If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports. And or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.